Welcome back, everybody. We'll jump right into it. So this is A's news, as well as combo with our main segment. What's next is going to be the title of that. So let's start off. Let's review the schedule. So the Mariners we went to Arlington to face the Mariners. Or not the Mariners, the Rangers.
Let's start this over. Chris, start over.
No, we'll keep going. To face the Rangers, went to Arlington, Texas, to face the Rangers. We dropped 2 out of 3 there. Got rocked on Friday. Whooped that ass on Saturday, and then got rocked again. And then we headed over to the south side of Chicago to face the White Sox Monday through today, Thursday, the 19th. More or less had some good hitting the first 2 games, but just could not bring runners home. There was multiple attempts to do that, and we just couldn't get it done. And then on the 18th, we trotted out our amazing ace, Chris Bassitt. In what inning was it that it happened? Third?
Happened to the first.
First? Was it the first?
Yeah, the bases first and third, or first and second. They had base load or something like that.
Gotcha. In the first inning of that game, he was the batter hit a line drive straight at him. It struck him at 100 miles an hour, right in the face, just below the eye. He goes down. It looked pretty bad. He was holding his face. Luckily, he was conscious during the entire time, but it was very worrisome. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been life-threatening, but it looks like he's going to be okay. Get some surgery to repair his cheek. His eye is fine. Still has 20/20 vision. It missed his eye, thank God. But it was a very scary sight. If you have not seen it, full discretion. It's pretty hard to watch, but if you want to see it, our good friend Alex Espinoza from Ricky Blogs posted it on his Twitter. I think we retweeted it, Julio, as well.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. It looks like he's going to be out. We thought was going to be longer, potentially the rest of the season, potentially his career. But according to him, in a text that he sent to Dallas Braden at 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning, he thinks that he's going to be in a bullpen session in a couple weeks. He's going to get a surgery tomorrow, repair that cheek. Once the swelling goes down, we'll take a couple weeks for that bone to heal a little bit after the surgery. Then he's going to start throwing again. Julio, a lot of things to wrap our heads around here. There's a lot to get through because this situation affects a lot of what we're kind of trying to do right now as a team in capture the division and hold on to the wild card. We lose our ace pitcher potentially for the rest of the season, probably only for 3 or 4 weeks. Our second best pitcher all season has been struggling lately. In the month of August, he has an ERA of 13. In our hitting, what was the bright spot of this win streak that we had going just before this run against the Rangers and the White Sox seems to be slowing down. It seems like small ball is kind of kicking us in the ass now. We get runners in scoring position, but we cannot bring them home. So, Julio, your initial reaction to the Chris Bassitt. Let's start there with the Chris Bassitt injury. Accident.
Fuck.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. Look, he's fine.
Mine was like frightening. I was like,
it was scary. It was so scary watching that live. It was really horrifying to kind of see that experience happen live. Thankfully, like you mentioned, his eye will be okay. There's no brain damage. Unfortunately, we all remember when Brandon McCarthy got hit, and that more or less kind of ruined his career. Playing wise, I know he did pitch. I think he did pitch again.
He had a couple like all-star seasons after that, didn't he?
He did. That was it. When he got hit. That was it. It was kind of one of those things that when it happened, it was like, of course, like this, we were just going to, the A's just went this really tough series against the Rangers, who for some reason just become this new unit of a team whenever they play the A's, even though the A's still have a winning record against them. They just play them so well and so tough at the worst times. And then everyone was kind of dreading this series because the White Sox have really started clicking. Their guys have been coming healthy again. The rotation has just been stout. And then they added Craig Kimbrell and then Ryan Tepera to like really solidify that bullpen. And we were like, all right, this is the game. This is the game where Seabass out there. Of course, that happens and everything just goes to shit. The other reaction is, I think now that knowing he's going to be okay and that there's a timeline of a potential return, this is what differentiates. We're going to jump on the Bob Melvin train. Everybody, I got my conductor hat on. Choo choo. We're going to go. I think this is what makes him such a good manager is he's able to kind of navigate through those storms. He's able to kind of find the right guys for these moments because unfortunately he's had to go through this a lot through his career with the A's. If you think about the horrible Brandon McCarthy situation, and we had to talk about this a few weeks ago when Ramon got suspended. He's been through multiple guys who've been busted for PEDs. So he's kind of been through this before and he knows how to kind of maintain those choppy waves more or less to kind of get those teams there. So
Julio last night was a great example. He picked the right guy to pitch that game last night. A guy with veteran experience who can come in there and pitch a quality start outing, Paul Blackburn.
Well, you know why, right? You know why? He's from Antioch, son.
Brentwood's finest, though. He went to Heritage. Like, let's be honest.
I was gonna make this point on Twitter when, because Heritage, I think when it was my senior year of high school, it was their first year, and I will always remember because look, I didn't do any high school athletics, but I did one track for one year, and I'll always hold that to my chest. I did high school sports for 1 year, my senior year of high school, but we ran against Heritage, and it was
to hang out with your friends though.
Yeah, but also like, hey, I ran a 5:18 mile.
That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly. Like with like only 1 year of training, everybody's like, damn, you should have kept doing this. I'm like, I fucking should have. But I just remember our track meet was just like a complete, for lack of better words, mollywop, where like people were getting lapped in mile races. Ryan DeVito straight up ran like 5 different events that day. He's never done hurdles before, but he ran hurdles.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is the fact that
freshman and sophomore though.
Yeah, it was hella funny. But there was a few people transferred who like there are a few juniors and seniors. Yeah, but my point is to kind of see where Heritage Athletics came from that point to now they have a guy who's can really pitch the majors. Fantastic. And like Paul Blackburn was kind of an afterthought for majority of the season because we had the hype of Dalton Jeffries. He's been pitching so well out there. Grant Holmes has been lingering around there as well. We're waiting for like, okay, when's AJ Pug going to be starting? We've kind of forgot like Paul Blackburn. Yeah, he's not going to have the most electric stuff, but like when he's on and he's got the kind of, I think the familiarity with Sean Murphy kind of helped him out a little bit. He is a pretty solid, sustainable pitcher. He's no better than like a Mike Fiers in that situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to him. And I think I think this next few weeks are going to show you like how good of a manager Bo Mel is. And it's been like we're in the same boat as a lot of other Ace fans. Chris, you agree with me? It's frustrating. This week has been so goddamn frustrating. You just gotta be even keel. Just kind of take a breath. And if you're just really getting frustrated watching this team, just don't watch. Step away. That's what we had to do Tuesday night when he got hit. I just had to stop watching. I'm like, I'm not in the mood to watch this team right now.
Yeah, I turned it off. But I'm not gonna lie. Quite soon after the accident, it was hard not to think. Like the thing that came through my mind was like, well, where does this put our rotation now? Like, if we get into a wild card game, is Sean Manaea the guy to go with? We've seen him get lit up in those games before. I think he had a decent start last year in the wild card series, which is better, to see. But his playoff record is not so great. Small sample size, but whatever. He's been pitching terribly recently. So I would say if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have had all the confidence in the world that he could lead the staff with Caprillion and Montas and Irvin right behind him. But like now it's super concerning. And we have some big series coming up that we need to win in order to catch some ground from the Astros. We're only 2.5 games behind the Astros, and the Astros have not been playing the best baseball they've been playing all season as of late. So right now, let's see what the Astros are at. Their splits. Right now they are 5-5 in their last 10. Their run differential is plus 164, but it was like around 200 a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's just something that we really need to take advantage of. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't concerned. The other guys behind him, do I have confidence that maybe they could lead us through a series? Yes. Do I have confidence that in one of them in a wild card game? Probably not. I think Frankie would probably be our best bet in that situation. I don't know if you want to trot out a rookie in Caprillion in that game, but yeah, it's, it just leaves so many gaping holes. And we had one of the top 10 pitchers in the league go down like that when we had all the confidence in the world. And Jeff Passan said it on SportsCenter last night. He's been like a sneaky, like Cy Young candidate that no one in the league is talking about. Chris Bassitt, like, you look at his numbers and he's up there with all the other guys. So I don't know. That was the thing. That's the thing that concerns me the most. So I'm hoping that he's back in time for the playoffs and he's like back to form. That's what's weighing on my mind a lot.
I'm glad you brought up the back to form thing because, wait, have you watched season 2 of Ted Lasso yet?
No, I'm waiting for it to all go and then I'm going to binge it.
I forgot that's your thing. Anyways, the first episode has to deal with
shows
the
like
yips.
that. Only for shows like that.
Yeah. The first episode has to deal with the yips. And that's kind of my concern with Seabass when he comes back is how quickly is he going to adjust to kind of going back into that pitcher's mentality where it's like, fuck. I think that's the biggest fear for anybody who's ever played baseball, especially if you're a pitcher, is just like, what's going to happen if I don't catch a ball or if I just can't stop a ball and that reaction just hits me.
I will say the one thing about Seabass is he's a badass and he kind of like really struts himself out there. And it's like,
oh, absolutely.
He has this aroma of being a badass to where I have confidence he can. But yes, that is definitely something that, it's to be concerned about too.
Yeah. I think maybe give him a couple starts until it kind of figures out his groove.
Yeah.
It just,
for sure.
And I think he's a very prideful person. He's really big on just everything he's done for this team. He's really busted his ass to get to the spot where he's at right now. But dude, look how far he's grown over this last year.
Man,
I remember when we had Mason on last year.
I'd say this last 2 years.
Yeah, remember we had Mason on last year for one of the first episodes. Like, yeah, I don't know how sustainable he's going to be. And it's just like, dude, the guy's been one of the best pitchers in the American League. All right, is this a Mason roasting session? Take it away.
To Seabass's defense, he was having an insane year. He was fucking killing it all last season, but Mason was still hesitant about it. I would say a year and a half ago when he first came back up, I think it was an injury or it was a No, it was not the Monta. It was some injury to someone in the rotation. I want to say AJ Puck, and he came up and he lit it up that year, and he became a staple of the rotation. That Mason hot take was when he was already pitching really well. So that's why that take is that should be on the Freezing Cold Takes Twitter account.
I'm just glad we'll forever have that moment because it's great. But honestly, I don't know if you guys saw too, the last dive bar. Chris, go ahead and hold up the mug real quick while you got it there. Look at that. Look at that shit. So fantastic. Anyways, the last dive bar Twitter account, they actually put together a get well card for Seabass. So if you haven't had the chance, we're going to retweet it and I'll go ahead and retweet it in a moment. Go ahead and sign it. Send whatever thoughtful wishes, whatever things you want to say. I know Chris is going to say you're fucking badass and you're going to come back better than ever. Get a chance to do it. Seabass is one of those guys. He really thrives on that kind of stuff. But best of wishes, man. I'm so excited for him to come back, knowing that he's okay, because I think he's going to be better than ever.
Yeah. I think so too. But yeah, no, you're right. You have every right to be a little concerned. Um, in that area. But I mean, let's be honest though. The tail of the tape this past week was just not bringing runners home. That was fucking brutal. Like, not yesterday's game, the game before. No, that was Bassett's injury. The national TV game, ESPN on Monday. They had runners. They had runners on second and third, or just on third, like it for 3 straight innings with 1 or 0 outs, and they could not bring a guy home. They would ground out, or they would strike out 2, or something like that. It drove me insane. It's like, well, I thought we solved this problem. I thought we figured this out. And now we're back to where we were before the deadline. Like, this is not going to win us a championship. Like, what the fuck is going on?
It seems like there's only a few guys who can really hit runners at scoring position, and one of them was Jed. It's starting to get to the point of frustration that it's like, I don't know if this is the look. I'm a big anti Darren Bush guy. You know that. Mm-hmm. Something is telling me, yeah, we both are. And something is telling me that the preparation that these guys are getting when you're going into matchups, it just isn't working.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I retweeted the stat earlier today that it was something like the A's hit like their 5 last home runs were all solo home runs. I'm going to pull up the exact number.
Well, Olsen had a 2-run home. 3.
No, but Olsen was the one that broke it.
Oh, okay.
He also was the one that broke it today. Oh, the A's last 14 home runs have been solo home runs.
That's insane.
And it wasn't until today where Olsen hit that 2-run home run. And that's just not sustainable. And this has just been a problem for the last 3 years. Since 2018, when they've kind of got this new run of good teams.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you can say about that issue. We've been hampering on this since day one of starting this podcast. Is like, look, we're not expecting you to drive in 5 runs every time the bases are loaded. Or we're not expecting you to a grand slam every at bat. Just make it competitive. And it still seems like that's they're not doing it consistently. And until they can't do that consistently, like, this isn't a championship team. I am a full believer that I think with this roster they have now, the way the bullpen's been pitching, the way the starters have been throughout the season, this is a team that I think could legitimately win a World Series. Mm-hmm. I will stand by that point, and I will find anybody for it. But it's like the little things like that where you still can't show any signs of consistency is just a major red flag that all these years they still haven't been able to figure that shit out. And it's just mind-boggling, man.
Julio, I'll do you one better. Like we're not expecting you to score like 5 runs every inning, but you have 3 innings with 3 chances in a row to get it right, and you can't get one of them right. That's where I have the problem. Look, stranding runners, it happens. Like, nobody's perfect. You can't hit fucking 1,000 in a season. So every once in a while, you're gonna have those bad innings where you have a runner on third and you have 3 strikeouts in a row or whatever. But 3 fucking innings in a row, you have these opportunities and you can't do it. Like, and I get this was Lance Lynn too, but like Lance Lynn looked very vulnerable that game. Very vulnerable. I think it was proof when we got runners on third and second for 3 innings in a row. It just, honestly, part of it too, Julio, it's probably the roles are all fucked up now with the Ramon suspension. Like, they can't find someone consistent to bat second because, I mean, Lowry's they've been putting Lowry at third because he's been batting so well, then doing it with runners on base. They're kind of moving Harrison and Kemp all over the field, which is kind of weird. I get it. They're utility players, but that's kind of weird. Mitch Moreland is not consistent at the 5 hole. They're having a hard time kind of like filling up that middle of the order. Like, the roles are just all over the place, and they keep trying to search for them, and the guys aren't stepping up.
Straight up, I think Jan Gomes should be playing majority of games. I would rather have Jan Gomes
be like the full DH now.
Not the full DH, because I think another red flag that's kind of been drawn up lately is just seeing like Jed's fielding is really starting to show, like, unfortunately his body's catching up with him out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jan Gomes is just every at bat is at least productive. He's just so productive out there every single bat. So maybe if he's not going to be the full-time DH, and I think the team really does benefit from having him behind the plate as well, and it's shown so far. But you're right though. It's like it's weird, even though like
he does. He makes the most of every at bat ever since he's joined the team. I will say that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he almost hit a home run yesterday. He was so close to kind of hitting it out yesterday. Just kind of died out in the outfield. But you brought up a really good point of they're still trying to figure out this lineup post Ramon, even though as soon as he got suspended, they went on a 7-game win streak. And it's weird that they've never figured out how much of a point do you think this kind of sludge of games has to deal with? Just this is what 10 games in a row, and all 10 were on the road.
I think that's I think that's a big part of it. But also I think that Bob Melvin's trying to get he's almost over managing. He's trying to get too cute with the lineup and too cute with the positions. Like you see a lineup and you see a defense that's working. Like, why don't you just stick with that and just ride that? Where he's like trying to giving everybody a day off. He's Kempson left field, and then we're moving him over to second, and then he's gonna fucking play center field, and then Josh Harrison's playing all over the fucking field, and Mitch Moreland has a day off, and Jan Gomes is DHing. It's just like stop getting too cute, and let's just go with what works. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, that was kind of my last point. That I think whenever we're ready to move on to the next segment, I think there's somebody who's really going to help solidify this lineup to really figure out where it's going to go next. So if you have any more lasting points, I think a big part of this, my last point with this whole thing is like 10 games on the road, back to back. You're going from Cleveland to Texas to Chicago. Look, man, Chris, you travel for work. That shit's exhausting. I couldn't imagine how exhausted
moving all over those time zones, man.
Yeah. So imagine just having to play every single day since then. And there's probably some guys like, shit, have you seen Matt Olson get a day off this whole time? No.
That's you're only moving 1 hour, but that's 3 different time zones you went into. You went from central to east to central. Like, that's insane. But one last thing, and then you can talk about the thing that you think is going to ground it a little bit. Oh my God, I totally lost my train of thought. It's not important. I do feel like we were cheated a little bit. We were robbed a little bit. I tweeted out a poll today. Did you feel like we were robbed? Because I felt that way a little bit from this series with the White Sox. I felt like we could have definitely tied up that series, but like just Bassett's injury just totally just took the wind out of this team yesterday. That I don't want to blame it on that, but I will say that was something that was concerning. So maybe we're overreacting, and maybe just like that one game really affected like that whole series. But the Rangers always play us well, so there's that too. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's I think it's more what we've been talking about for the past 20 minutes than that.
Well, Chris, get ready, because it's going down. We're DMs? Yelling Pinder.
Oh, should have known that.
The latest speculation is swipe right, baby. The latest speculation from Bob Melvin is that Chad Pinder is expected to be returning this weekend, as soon as tomorrow against the series against the Giants, or today if you're listening tomorrow morning. Anyways, Chad Pinder is going to come back to the lineup. We've kind of talked about in the past how important it's going to be, even if his bat is not there, to kind of have him there to give some relief to Elvis at short, give him the days off when he needs it. Chapman at third, give him the days off when he needs it. And he's kind second of one of those
too.
Yeah, at second as well. And it just kind of gives some more pieces to Bowmel to work with. Fantastic news. They've drastically needed somebody where you can kind of plug and play okay with giving days off to, because I love Tony Kemp. I've been a huge fan of his throughout the season. And I think he's really a wizard at second. He's made some pretty dynamic plays throughout the season. I don't think he should be playing in the outfield too often, though, just because of like, especially with no Ramon right now. We don't really have somebody who can really hold guys at second who are trying to run the third kind of thing. Yeah. But with Pinder out there, you got somebody who's got a good enough arm that can at least stop those guys from advancing and so on and so forth.
And Canna can go back to left, which is nice because his presence in left is great. Another thing I just thought of, Julio, is Elvis Andrews' paternity leave. That also might have been, you're taking away leadership in the clubhouse too, so that might have affected as well. And Chad Pinder kind of helps that out because Vismail Machine is not the answer at shortstop. Where Pinder can be a lot better. And also Pinder, he's a leader of the clubhouse that kind of like people that the fans don't necessarily know too much about. He was one of the guys who in that series against the Astros, the ALDS last year, in that game 3 when they were down and they rallied back, he was one of the guys who, him and Ramon and Marcus were the guys who were in the dugout, like rallying and like giving speeches to try and get the guys going. So that's going to be super important. Yeah, just more versatility. Hopefully Bob Melvin doesn't get too cute with it, but we always talk about how important Pinder, every time he comes back from an injury, we talk about how important Pinder is to this team and what he does.
Yeah, and it's just sucked because he's been hurt so much this year.
Yeah.
And it's shown like when he's not there, how important, like this offense, this team really clicks when Pinder and Canna are out there. And when you lose one of those guys, you kind of lose a part of that offense. Like when Canna first came back from the IL, when he was out like in the middle of July or before the All-Star break, it was showing like, oh shit, we need somebody who's going to kind of, even if he's not going to be hitting as hard as he is, somebody who's just going to be patient at the plate, taking pitches for every at bat. Mm-hmm. And with Pinder, it's just like somebody where you can throw him anywhere you want, and he's going to make the best out of those situations. He's got a really good arm. He's got a solid glove. So, and this isn't a better time to get him against the Giants. Yes. So happy he's coming back. Do you think he's going to be potentially like the everyday left fielder going forward or right fielder going forward?
I don't know. I really like Josh Harrison and what he's been doing is bat. So he's one of the guys who like he's been the guy on third base like the past like 5 games that's getting stranded there, So I don't know. I mean, I think you're right. I think we could use him at second and maybe Jed can DH because whatever Mitch is doing, he's got to figure something out. I would feel more comfortable with Jed at DH on his off days.
I'd like to see. I'm going to pull up this up if you want to stagger this up for a second. I'd like to see. I know we talk about the Dodgers a lot on here, but also I'm super surrounded by Dodger talk, so that's kind of our thing.
Because we live in Los Angeles, it's just how it
exactly. I would love to see Bomel use Pinder the way that he uses, or that the way the Dodgers use Chris Taylor, and that.
Oh, interesting.
So here, I'm going to give you entering Tuesday. Chris Taylor's played 49 games at center field, 39 at second, 22 at short, 10 in left, 7 at third, and 1 in right field.
Just give all these guys a little bit of rest, at least a couple innings of rest.
Yeah, like dude, Canada's been playing so much.
Yeah.
It's give him those days out. I don't think Starling Marte's really had any rest since he's been out there. I don't know how
well. He probably doesn't want any rest because he missed half the season from an injury.
And also, like, he's trying to get paid, so get him out there. But like Elvis needs it. Chappie needs it. Like, it's just like, especially in this time of the year where it's starting to show where they on a 10-game road trip, they just went 5-5 when they should have taken that series against Texas. It just makes life a little bit easier for the whole team when he's there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to the last piece of information for A's news, and then we'll finish it off. But unless you have something more to say.
Going down, yelling Pinder. That's it.
Boom. Yeah, expect to see some Pinder this weekend if he does indeed come back. Some good news. The A's have been flexed into primetime Sunday Night Baseball against the Yankees on shit. I just had it up, but I lost it.
ESPN?
On ESPN. No, I mean the date of the game, but it's not important. It's in 2 weeks.
That is August 29th.
August 29th. So Sunday Night Baseball will be at the Coliseum, as well as Baseball Tonight on location. So that'll be pretty cool. You'll get to watch them play the Yankees, and that'll be a fun series. I didn't know that MLB had flex scheduling, but I looked it up, and apparently they do for the second half of the season. So that's also why we saw the A's on Monday Night Baseball this week. They got flexed into that game as well. So that'll be cool. All right, Julio. This upcoming schedule, we play the Giants this weekend, Friday through Sunday. 1 second. I have the pitching matchups right here. Alex Wood is facing off against James Caprillion on Friday the 20th. Saturday, it's going to be Kevin Gausman versus Shamanaya. 1 p.m. start game for that. And Webb will be facing off against, that's not Brandon Webb. I don't know why I was thinking to say that, but I don't.
Logan Webb.
Logan Webb is facing off against Frankie Montas on Sunday, 1 p.m. start. So this is a big series going against the best team in baseball statistically. That is the standings. I don't know if I would say that they're the best team in baseball, but that's just my opinion. And then after that, 2-game series against Seattle, Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday off. Julio, who's your player of the week, if you have one?
I'm going to go with somebody who I think they've made a big impact in the pen. I'm going to go with AJ Puck. I think he's really starting to come into his own in this role. He only pitched 3 innings.
He did what it feels like. I thought it was more than 3 innings. It feels like more, but he's been doing what you want him to do, is eat up innings.
Yeah, eat innings. And I think he's done a really solid job so far. This last week he only pitched 3 innings. He gave up only 1 run. He walked 1. He had 2 Ks. And throughout, he's only pitched 7 innings total throughout the season, and he hasn't given up a run yet. So I think we just got to show, like, hey, it's working so far. How long this is going to be sustainable because of his history, we'll see. Mm-hmm. But it is starting to click a little bit. So I'm hoping that's sustainable. I just want to give him his kudos while kudos is there. So AJ Puck, that's my player of the week.
Nice. I like that pick. Solid pick. Mine's going to be Paul Blackburn because he stepped up big. He got the call the day before to come in and step up and take this pitching assignment. It kind of worked out for everybody's favor because then it pushed all the starters back so that our 3 best starters are pitching this weekend against the Giants. But he came up the day before, flew out to Chicago, pitched a hell of a game in place of the injured Chris Bassitt. 5 innings, only 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, but he didn't get any run support. And this was the game that I was talking about where they had very many opportunities of runners on third base, and they could not bring runners home. Let's see how many runners they stranded. Runners left in scoring position. Josh Harrison 3 times, Mark Canha twice, Matt Chapman twice. So they stranded, oh my God, they stranded 7 runners in that game in scoring position. But you did your job, buddy. So kudos to you. I don't know how much we're going to see of you the rest of the season. They might bring up Dalton Jeffries, but you deserve a spot because you did well. So you get my player of the week, Antioch, one of Antioch and Brentwood's finest.
You can go and get a free burrito from Los Three Amigos restaurant whenever you would like, my friend.
There you go. Family discount. All right, Julio. Last week's essential tailgate tools of the week. You picked Mark Canha.
And he was
he had a home run. That's cool.
I think that's kind of
31 and 5 strikeouts, so that sucks.
Yeah, I think kind of a one thing we're seeing lately is his power has kind of regressed a little bit.
Yeah.
He's still being patient at the plate. He's still got 3 walks. He got hit by a pitch because it wouldn't be a Mark Canha hit without getting hit by a pitch. But hitting wise,
he's been being more like a different strategy because he's a leadoff hitter.
Maybe, even though I feel like I've seen him hit for bombs more, but
I don't know. Mine was Elvis
contractors.
That's true. That's a good point. Mine was Elvis Andrus. He was on paternity leave for half the week though, so Not that 3 for 19. Still a base. That's cool. I don't know. I didn't know I didn't know that his wife was pregnant. So otherwise I would. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I didn't get a full week out of him, but it is what it is. We win some, we lose some. All right, Julio, who's your essential tailgate tool of this week?
Matt Chapman. I want to see if we're going to keep doing it, man.
He's been killing it.
I for sure thought one of us was going to pick Chappie because
probably should have, but I just wanted to give Paul Blackburn his
no, credit. Absolutely. He deserves the love he should get. I think he really was really solid in that start, but Chappie might be back, and I just want to kind of rewind.
I'm wondering if you're with me.
Not going. This my rewind motion to when we did our State of the A's. He was your second MVP. If he was really starting, if this team really wants to be competitive, he's got to start clicking.
He has to be
really looking like, at least power wise, it's starting to come back. I think he's at 19 home runs now. It looks like it's starting to click again, and I think this coming week against two huge series really against the Giants and the Mariners, this can be time for him to shine. So Chappie, let's bring it home, baby.
We have 45 games left. Can he pull a 2010 Hideki Matsui and have an insane second half? That's what we're hoping for.
Yes.
Mine is going to be Shamanaya because he needs to pitch well in this game on Saturday. One, we need this win because I don't want to fucking hear from Giants fans. And two, we just need him to bounce back because he needs to lead the staff because he's the only real candidate who has at least right now, who has the makeup in terms of like all around just his pitching style and everything. Just a complete pitcher. He's the only one in our rotation who has it. I think Caprillion will have it, but he's young. He's the only one who has it now, so we need him to do that. So Shamanaya is my essential tailgate tool of the week. We're not going to update the polls because I only did 2 polls this week, so and one of them was today, so we'll just wrap those into next week and add them to next week's updated polls. Sound good, Julio?
Yes.
All right, cool. That's going to do it for this week's Town Tailgate podcast. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Town Tailgate. You can email us things if you want to, towntailgatepodcast@gmail.com. I don't know why you would, but you can. That's cool.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. And don't forget to check out the Around the Diamond Podcast Network. That's what we are powered by. Am I missing anything? I think that's
we gotta get a shout out to Zion I real quick, man.
Oh man. Okay.
Quick.
Yeah. I'm gonna take this one real quick.
Yeah, take it, man. Take it. It's all you.
So when I was a kid, obviously I listened to hip hop, but it was mostly mainstream stuff. My brother is a hip hop head. My brother Larry Magical, shout out. He's a hip hop head, and when the hyphy movement came to Bay Area, he got super into the hyphy movement, and so much that he kind of went down like a deep dive of finding out all these like underground rappers. Zion I was one of those guys. This was before "Don't Lose Your Head" came out. This was when like the Bay was like their big song. Which, if you know Zion I, if you know the hype movement, you know what song I'm talking about. It's like "In the Bay." It's just talking about like things that we do in the Bay. So Zion I is a rap group with Zumbi and Amp Live. Zumbi is the MC, Amp Live was the producer and DJ. And their music just really, my brother introduced me to them, and they just really spoke to me. They're one of my brother's favorite artists of all time as well. But they're very lyrical. They talk about really important things. In fact, they talked a lot in their early albums, like 2005, 2007, 9, about mental health. They were really ahead of that train more than anybody. And just their music really spoke to me. One of my all-time top 5, maybe probably second all-time favorite album is Heroes in the City of Dope, which was their album they did in 2007 with the Grouch. Just nothing but classics. And if you listen to that album, I recommend that you listen to it from start to finish all the way through. That album is designed like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And it's designed to listen to all the way through from start to finish. They have sound transitions at the end of one song that go into the next. It's just a beautiful piece of art. talks about, and all their music talks about just amazing stuff. It's not just like partying and bitches and shit like that. So that when that album came out, he became my all-time favorite rapper. I had the luxury of meeting him in 2013 when I was interning at Comcast Sportsnet, which is now NBC Sportsnet. I didn't know when I showed up to work that day that he was coming in to be on our talk show, our weekly talk show, our daily talk show, Yahoo Sports Talk Live. He's going to do a performance. My boss surprised me with that. He came in, we shot with him. He hung out and just shot the shit with us afterward. My boss was also a really big fan of Zion I. So we were talking to him and telling him about how I'm such a big fan. Like, your music spoke to me for all these years. He performed Coastin', which is another great song of theirs. And I told him about the story of, he had a show in Berkeley once where my brother came to it, and he pulled my brother up on stage and they were dancing. I forgot who he was with, but that's one of my brother's favorite stories, at a concert, and they started dancing and they hung, and like he was up there for like 2 songs and just like rapping and hanging out with them. And I told him that story and he was like, yeah, we do that a lot. So honestly, I can't remember exactly when it was. I just thought that was the funniest thing.
That's great.
And when we're done shooting the shit, we wanted to ask for a picture, but we're at work, so we wanted to be like respectful. And we're like, yeah, man, it was great meeting you. Thank you so much. And he goes, you guys want a picture with me? And I was like, what? Did he just ask us if we get a picture with him? Fuck yeah, we want a picture. Yes, we do. We want a picture. He's like, I was like, I didn't want to ask, but like, he's like, yeah, man, no, hell no. Yeah, get in here. Let's take a picture. And he took a picture with us, and it wasn't like a smiling, like, arm around a picture. He was like, let's do something cool. And like, we like pointed, we were just like doing stupid shit. And he was just awesome and so much fun. And that was like the greatest moment of my college life. It's still one of my favorite moments, meeting a celebrity. I've met a lot of them, especially living down here in LA. And I will always remember it. So rest in peace to Steven Zumbi. I forgot his last name, but Zion
Gaines.
of Zion I. So,
dude, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, like one of my favorite songs that era, man.
Yep.
Especially like when you move away from home, when you kind of hear the sound of BART trains going by, and
we take planes, trains, automobiles, ride around the world to collect more squirrel. And when we get done, I miss my home. My God.
Yeah, man. Just that music from the heart, man. So, rest in peace.
One of Oakland's finest, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, in honor of Zumbi, last but not least, Julio.
Never forget, let's go Oakland.
Woo!